I don't think anybody takes National Hangover Day as seriously as I have.
Oh,
today.
buddy.
We're recording this on the 1st, and I'm drinking blue Pedialyte out of a red Solo cup.
That's the correct thing to do. Yes. That's
Did you make a
medicine?
Did you make another lemon pig?
We did not do the lemon pig.
I
I never
forgot to get
the lemon pig thing until you guys.
What's that about? It's like it unlocks
I don't really
something
know where it comes from
in my mind, but I've heard it before, but I don't
monster?
know. Oh.
Is that what you said?
Did I say that?
Oh, I thought I heard you say it's a monster.
It is. It might as well be.
I just remember that Shane, I think, destroyed the lemon pig by
slaughtered
stabbing it.
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, COVID started. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I filled it with we got red food dye or something. So
I injected red food coloring into it at his request. That's how much I love him.
It was bleeding out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
it was worth it.
Well,
it was worth it.
Sorry, everybody.
You should have.
Sorry for doing COVID.
You should have squeezed the lemon pig into some hot water, and you would feel a lot better.
There you go. Gosh, I'm fucked up.
I'm just.
I'm so fucking tired and groggy, man.
It's 80 degrees here today.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's stupid hot.
Well, it's 50, and I thought about that today. It's 50 in New York or whatever, 55, and I'm like, I used to like the winters that were cold, or even that perhaps had snow. And so there was a bit of kind of climate dread when I woke up this morning and realized, I'm like, wow, it's been a few days of this sort of weather. And I just remember it being cold when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty brisk on over Christmas and New Year's.
It was pretty warm for me always, so
I'm fine with it.
No. This is all.
I'm gonna become one of those guys.
Yeah, I thought everybody likes it warmer.
Yeah, global warming. It's so cold out.
This is all.
I'm gonna be one of those guys.
All a result of the Industrial Revolution and its consequences.
That's right.
Yeah, it is, and we're better for it.
Yeah.
No.
Do you like antibiotics? Do you like plastics?
Yeah, I'm hoarding all of these microplastics in my liver and kidneys.
Yeah, that's right.
For a
That's
time
right,
where
buddy.
I might need to, create a plastic bag or something when my organs are harvested for, the provisional governments that are popping up when society collapses. I will be very
if you
useful.
collect enough microplastics in your vital organs, you become an X-Man.
that's true. It happened to me.
Is that what it is? Is that what
No.
Professor Hexagon does or whatever?
No.
He gives people
Hexagon?
plastics. The bald guy with the
Not even
Oh my
close.
god!
whatever.
What have
hell
you
outta
been
here.
watching
Get
on
that
Watch Mojo?
fuck
He's
outta
watching
here.
knockoff X-Men.
Do you want? You really want to know?
No, I don't.
You know what I
I
realized
do.
too?
I do.
Tell me.
I do.
I don't think I think I've been messing it up. It's not Watch Mojo, because Watch Mojo is the one where it's this is the top 10 times that Saw cut people's heads off or whatever.
Hell
That's
yeah.
not the things I've been watching. I've been watching
What?
Watch King or something, or Watch Clip movie watchclips.com or something like that.
Slash
That sounds
secrets.
like what we make up when we're drunk and we're just making up a shady website.
It's just
What
like
did
clips
you
of
even
movies
say
or
it's
whatever.
called? It's called Watch King Clips?
No, it's on YouTube.
Free movie download.
No, it's on YouTube. It's and I'm looking at my
Virusfreemovies.com
No.
/download.
very weird YouTube searches from last night.
I feel lied to. I thought this whole time that you were watching
Yeah.
Well, I
Watch
wasn't. No,
Mojo. What the fuck?
I was searching.
Top 10 things you didn't know about
Professor
Star
Hexagon.
Trek Discovery.
I think it's movie clips. Movie clips. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay,
hey,
all right, well.
watch this clip from the movie Lucy.
Well, we'll have to
Or,
modulate all of our jokes now, so we're gonna
Yeah.
need
It's fine,
some
but
time to regroup.
I also like Watch Mojo, but it's fine. It's just you just skip all the bullshit, and it's here's that cool scene from Paranormal Activity or whatever. Where
So have you watched the new Matrix?
Skip all the bullshit,
Or-
as in the movie,
Mm-hmm,
as in the context that makes the fucking scenes make sense.
I get the gist.
To you, that's bullshit.
Listen. This is the first. I haven't seen a movie all year.
Are you're the kind of guy who looks at the cliff notes of something and be like, oh yeah, I've read that. Yeah, I got it.
Shane, what you fail to
that
understand,
wrong?
and you don't,
Yes,
you may not,
yes,
you
yes.
may not appreciate this because I'm an academic, so you may not know about this, but
Okay.
as you have to understand the trunk and the main branches of things. And see, you get caught up in all the nuance, and you're sitting out there in the smaller branches and the twigs trying to understand the details.
I'm about to snap off one of the fucking branches.
Well, maybe if you excel in academia at some, like I have my entire life with all of my very smart, big brain, good grades, then maybe you'll get there. But until then, you can learn something from movie clips on
Sponsored by
YouTube.
Fandango.
Maybe you want to see clips of the movie, the Brooks was here from Shawshank Redemption or Good Will Hunting. These are the things that are in my queue on YouTube. You should try it.
This
enjoying
has
enjoying
55
cinema.
billion views, the Fandango Movie Clips channel.
See?
Wow.
This world is sick. It's
Sickos.
a sick
55
world.
billion sickos in this world.
It's a sick world, dude.
I'm at least 1 billion of those.
Yeah, I bet.
It's just me, this is how I relax, is just looking at like maybe 3-minute clips of bullshit on YouTube. I have my favorite, I'm looking at my searches, and my favorite one from last night is just ARF ARF. ARF space ARF. But I believe that was from the Knocked Loose song, Counting Worms. Those that know.
Dwight stumbles across like a channel they called like Funny Dogs, and he's just like, "Wow, would you look at that? These dogs are hilarious."
I was watching
Honey, come in here.
I was watching one. It was just a.
Sorry.
I was watching one. It was just a 50-second clip of a cat on ice. And I was just, I'm like,
okay, that does sound like a banger, though.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's good.
Again,
that stuff is good.
There is no comedy. I think we all recognize that, comedians may have been a mistake over the last 10 years or something like that. The only actual comedy is by the observation of nature's clowns, which are cats, and their misgivings and their funniness.
Cats are good, but the real top tier funny animal for me is chicken. If you look at a chicken, it's impossible to not laugh.
Filthy
Just like they don't even have to be doing anything. It's such a ridiculous creature.
We watched a lot of the chicken hypnosis videos one night at like 3 a.m.
Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, hell yeah. Have I seen the chicken hypnosis
You draw a line
videos?
in the sand in front of a chicken, and they go fucking limp.
It's so fucking funny, dude.
I haven't seen it this year, but maybe later on.
I like when they draw the line in the sand with the chicken's own beak, and it just they're so
using
stupid.
Fire to fight fire.
So
stupid.
I can't wait till one day I can live somewhere rural and raise chickens and all day long just hypnotize them as like the bank forecloses on my house. 'Cause I'm not doing any
You could get
payments.
chickens in your apartment.
I don't think
You
we
could
can
keep them on the
First of all,
balcony.
Rollo would just like terrorize.
yeah.
the fucking
Or he
chicken.
might be
Eat it,
scared
you
of
know?
them, actually. So.
Or he
That's true.
might hurt it. Corral it around the apartment and
Yeah.
direct it.
And you
into various
film that
parts.
and put it on YouTube.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll be a fucking billionaire. I'll be the chicken man.
Attractive dog with the lightning eyes is moving the chicken over to this side of the room now. You could have a cam set up. That'd be great. I'd love to just check in and see how Rollo and the chicken are doing.
Rollo caught on camera exposed herding chickens. Hot Mike Rollo barks at chicken.
That's literally all under arf arf on my YouTube searches is Robert Byrd barbaric. Do you remember there was a speech given by Senator Robert Byrd from West Virginia before he died about
This is why you don't have time to watch movies. You're watching like fucking 30-year-old C-SPAN clips.
yes.
In fairness, I get that. I do
Yeah, that
do
shit's
that.
good too.
Please put it in here now. But it was Robert Byrd talking about, he's dead now, but he was talking about like they were trying to put a bill together about dog fighting or something like that as a fallout of like the Michael Vick dog fighting thing or whatever, which it's got its own thing. But anyway, the way that he emotes when he's like 92 and barely holding it together is really fun.
Barbaric. Let that word resound from hill to hill and from mountain to mountain, from valley to valley, across this broad land. Barbaric. Barbaric.
Barbaric. It's really good. I used to play pool with Nelson Rockefeller. Yeah, it's I just wonder how why are these clips from like C-SPAN from 20 years ago just still stuck in my fucking noggin.
Because you don't waste space in your brain filling it with like stupid shit like movies. So you have all this bandwidth for the really important stuff.
Correct. This year, I commit to decreasing the length of media that I consume, and that's what TikTok helps me bring my average down quite well.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's really good for your attention span too. Mm-hmm.
Again, as a very smart academic that likes to be able to concentrate on things in periods of
and like very targeted concentration for 5 seconds at a time.
It's so efficient. It's so efficient.
You want to overclock your brain like that. You're treating your brain like I treat my stomach. Just like fucking targeted harassment.
Don't you tell me what I put into my stomach. What I have put into my stomach in the last 48 hours alone would kill. And if you went back to like 1810 or something like that and gave to a nascent Delawarean or something like that what I have put in my stomach in the last 48 hours, they would just die. They would die.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Or maybe they'd be fine because they're fortified because they eat off of lead plates and shit.
Maybe it would strengthen them.
Yeah, they also drank like fucking like a liter of alcohol a day each.
Well, I mean, it was a holiday yesterday, Chris, so.
Good day, sir.
You know what I saw the other day? Is that stupid fucking scene from John Adams where he's dying and Thomas Jefferson. He's like,
oh, yeah, that shit is good, man. It's so fucking good. It's so good. We were walking around yesterday, in center city of Philadelphia. There's Independence Hall, which is like City Hall or whatever, and it has all the statues of all the like founding fathers and shit. And there's like 3 of like Benjamin Franklin within like 200 feet of each other, right around like the Masonic Lodge. And in my head, I just kept doing the fucking John Adams stuff. And then there's also, very funnily, there on one of the sides of the building, there's a fucking statue of William McKinley. I guess he was from Philadelphia or Pennsylvania or something. I don't know. But he's like leaning against a fasces. Like, in the statue. And it says, like fucking like father, statesman, soldier, martyr or something.
Yikes.
Very cool.
Because he was shot.
Right. He held office for like 18 hours or something like that, right?
No. He was around for a while. He started the Spanish-American War.
Good for him.
Yeah. There was another guy who got there was like one president.
William Henry Harrison
for like a day. Yeah, or something, or like a very for like a couple of weeks, and then he got sick and died.
Right. Oh, he was
like
presidential
46
term.
days or 36 days or something.
Something
William
incredibly
Henry Harrison.
Yeah, no, I see. March 4th, 1841 to April 4th, 1841. That's great. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry you're dead, you plantation owner prick. Fuck you.
Remember that few days where we thought that Donald Trump might die of COVID?
That was so nice.
I would give anything to recapture that feeling.
That was definitely the highlight of the whole pandemic.
I think after that passed is when everybody really started like losing their minds online.
Yeah. I mean, how can you like this? You can't come back.
You can't recover.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's nothing.
Constantly chasing that high.
Yeah.
Constantly chasing it.
Wow. Speaking of internet highs,
hit us with it.
and weird media consumptions. Me and Carrie, one of our sort of late night pastimes is to stumble down weird internet rabbit holes. And sometimes, it's not very fruitful, but sometimes we find something that just captivates us for like 6 hours.
Sometimes you strike gold.
And this one held our attention from somewhere between like 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. Like it was Jesus. Every new rock that got unturned in this story was so enjoyable. And recently we were trying to describe this saga that we had found to a group of other friends, and I'm not sure they really went for it. So we're hoping that this is going to be as entertaining and interesting to both you guys, who we haven't told this before, as well as our listeners. And if it's not, sorry, we're not sorry.
Email Dwight if you don't like it.
Yeah. Email Dwight at
it's so fucking funny.
Dwight.com.
And it's it's in the same genre of sometimes a lot of the kind of like rabbit hole-y research stuff we do for the show, but this is a lot lighter, and it doesn't seem to involve anyone who's outwardly evil. I guess except Hitler, obviously.
Oh well,
maybe I should have started there. I guess Hitler is pretty evil.
Everyone's got their opinion.
Think
it starts
about
with Hitler.
It does start with Hitler. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to walk you guys through this like series of discoveries that we made in the order that we did.
Yeah.
And feel free to jump in and let us know what you think, unless you want us to stop, which we
Tell
won't.
us to stop if you want us to stop. But imagine it's like 1 a.m. We're very drunk and we're Googling things and sharing things with
If you want to
to
stop, text stop to 62470.
Okay, so let me think of how to start this exactly. Okay, so we were looking at things.
You told me about the
named
Hitler bug is what happened first.
After, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, but there was some other unrelated conversation that we had.
Who knows?
Prior to this, with some people, some friends or something, and it had led me down this path of discovery of looking at things that were named after Hitler. Mm-hmm. And so in Germany, and in fact, I'm going to quickly send this. There's a convenient Wikipedia page, conveniently called "Things Named After Adolf Hitler," and
right.
You can imagine.
Oh, I know this one.
There was when the Nazis took power in Germany in 1933, right? Like they renamed a bunch of shit. Mostly like municipal things, streets, buildings. There was like a whole series of like housing projects that they built in, I think in Linz, Austria, that were all called like Hitler buildings. All manner of shit. Plazas, public spaces, government offices, what have you.
There was a in Long Island, not far from where I lived at one point. There was like a it's still there, but it was literally built. It was like designed and constructed as a planned community for the German American Bund.
Right.
During the Nazi during Hitler's time in power prior to the start of the war, and there was a street there, like all of the streets, some of them were named after like famous Nazis, and there was like an Adolf Hitler street.
Is it called Camp Siegfried?
Yes, that's it. I couldn't think of the name. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now lots of cops live there, so take that coincidence for
to carry on the tradition.
So take that however you like.
Fucking hell.
So if you go to this, if you check out this link, and I guess we'll share this link in the show notes as well, you can see included here are a lot of pictures of like denazification, and specifically, very famously, there's sort of like wartime propaganda posters taken by the Western Allies and presumably as well the Red Army as they swept into Nazi-occupied Europe and Germany. They would like take down the signs. There would be like a big sign that says like Adolf Hitler Strasse, and they would take it down and replace it with like Eisenhower Highway or whatever.
Wow.
As a kind of fuck you or whatever. And then of course when the regime was toppled, similarly, like anything else that was named was quickly unnamed. The Hitler thing, that was part of the sort of denazification program. I mean, at the same time, of course, the United States was actually ferrying actual Nazis to the United States for protection. But, Hitler was a bit gauche. You didn't want to be living in the Hitler house. How do you write a letter and say, oh, you know what, why don't you come swing by? I'm in Hitler apartment 1B or whatever.
Hitler Avenue.
Yeah, exactly. So all that stuff got, unnamed after Hitler. And, these days, the only stuff that does get named after Hitler are, like neo-Nazis.
Really bad stuff.
Very famously. like the like neo-Nazis do that shit. There was, that famous case, I think I brought it up on the show before, but like fucking 10, 15 years ago, this guy who was like a neo-Nazi somewhere in the Midwest, like named his kids Adolf Hitler and Himmler. He named his daughter like Himmleria or something, and he and I think he like made their middle names White Power. I mean, it's like a ridiculous fucking name, and the whole thing came about because he was like trying to get their a birthday cake made at Walmart.
I totally forgot about that.
Happy birthday, Adolf Hitler, and they wouldn't do it. So he was trying to like get them to sue them or whatever.
He changed his own name to Heath Hitler. I didn't know that. Wow. That's his own name, is Heath Hitler. My goodness.
But anyway, all this stuff that was in the original thing, and probably like that camp that you were talking about, Chris, pretty quickly, if it was not in Germany, during the war, or if it was in Germany after the war, they very quickly tried to rename that other shit, except for this bug. There is this bug, and I'm going to send...
It's on that page.
I'm going to send you the Wikipedia page for it. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, right? But its scientific name is Anophthalmus hitleri.
Anophthalmus hitleri,
wow.
Yeah.
It's an ugly little bastard.
Simple as.
Yeah, it is. It's a horrible little, like, beetle or, like, cockroach or something. And... the guy who named it was this guy, Oscar Scheibel, and he was a German... like fail son and just weird guy who like collected insects and shit, and he was like a ardent Nazi or what have you, and so he named his new discovery of this like I think it's this like eyeless beetle in honor of Hitler. And, we've got into this whole weird side conversation about how, like, if you're like a son of a rich person and you don't go into business or the military or whatever, like, you just end up being like a weird collector, right? Like you're like you have like oddities, you have like your fucking cabinet of curios
like
or whatever.
That's literally Connor in Succession. That's like part of his storyline.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, this weird guy named, this bug Hitler, and it was never unnamed.
Right.
The name was never retracted, and when we saw that, we were like, what the fuck, dude?
Like, why not just rename it?
You could just rename the bug. Everything else is, you took down the fucking Hitlerstrasse Avenue sign. Yeah. Just rename the bug.
It's
how
heritage,
difficult.
not hate. You just want to tear down history like that?
I mean, it's a tiny little bug, right? So, how difficult could it be to name? And that's what led us then into looking up, like, the rules about taxonomic classification.
All right.
And Carrie, I think at this point I'll hand it over to you.
So I think actually the way that I ended up coming across the ICZN statutes is I then Googled, like, is there other stuff with, like, offensive names? And then that's when I found just, like, a very long list of stuff that has like names that I cannot repeat on this show because they're literally just slurs, for example. Some of them are like offensive in milder ways, but many of them are just slurs. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are they letting animals be named slurs? And there's people like in the respective like fields of study of these animals that have problems with it. So I started like Googling and I found that the ICZN, which is the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, is like very strict. And that's what's like widely accepted as the convention on how you name animals. It's not easy to go back and like rename an animal once it's been named because they have this like one source that's used as like the central database of how everything is named, right? And so they make it difficult kind of on purpose, and also probably like similarly to what we'll get into, they probably figured when they first made these rules, like nobody's going to just name an animal after Hitler, so we don't need to worry about stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm Googling ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, and I come across a case. And it's about this. It's about like the process of renaming stuff. And it's this website, smuggled.com. Interesting website. Looks really legit. Keep in mind, it's very late. It's very late at this point. Okay. And I'll read you what the title of the page says. It says, Snake Man Raymond Hoser wins ICZN case 3601. Case with global ramifications is hailed as a major victory in favor of wildlife conservation and in the battle against scientific fraud and taxonomic vandalism. At this point, I did not know what taxonomic vandalism was. I don't think it says it here, so I'll just explain. Taxonomic vandalism would be if I purposely tried to name something in a way to troll other people in the scientific community, basically, or if I was trying to undo the taxonomic work of another scientist, I knew that something was already named, but I'm trying to change the name fraudulently, which is really fucked up. Why would you do that, right? So I'm reading this at 3 a.m. In a ruling dated 30th April 2021, the ICZN issued a long-awaited judgment and ruling in favor of leading scientist Raymond Hoser. Better known as the Snake Man, Raymond Hoser has blue ribbon scientific credentials, having been at the forefront of wildlife research and discovery for more than 50 years. I'm reading this, I'm wow, this guy is really smart. He must know a lot about reptiles. The case arose when a renegade university lecturer in Wales, Wolfgang Wuster, hatched a plot to override the 200-year set of rules governing scientific research, discovery, and naming organisms in favor of his own doctrine, later labeled the Kaiser veto, in honor of his criminal co-conspirator, Heinrich Kaiser. The plan first...
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The plan, first hatched in 2009, was to simply steal works from other scientists, rename species, and then to claim discovery of those species. It was simply an act of personal self-gratification on a grand scale. To that end, Wuster and his gang of thieves commenced naming species previously named by other scientists. To further cement their names in history, Wolfgang Wuster shopped his idea to other gullible scientists with the promise that if they stole name authority from a list of targeted authors, Wuster's group would ensure that their names would be used instead of the legitimate ICZN names.
Wow.
This goes on for much longer. I don't know the vibe that you guys get from that, but I'm reading this and I'm this sounds really legit. This guy knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
In retrospect, I'm going to let you guys look at the website and you tell me if you think this looks like a legit
I'm looking at it right now.
Website. First impressions.
If this was in 1997, maybe I would say yeah.
It's probably been around since 1997.
You know what? The only thing that would make this better would be if the background was black and the font was bright green.
That's very true.
Like a 1990s Angel Fire website.
So at some point, I'm reading this article. By the way, when I read Wolfgang Wuster out loud, Shane's face just lit up, and that's when I knew
that was when I was this is gonna take.
We stumbled across something good here, for sure.
Yeah.
So at some point reading this, and it goes on for quite a while, I won't read the whole thing. The takeaway is Wolfgang Wuster and his gang of thieves. I click and I look at the little fake magazine cover that he has there on the side, and then I click on Snake Man Raymond Hoser at the top, and I see this guy just holding a million snakes, and I'm oh, it's possible that this article was not written by a real scientist.
Yeah, that's the vibe that I'm getting here. Very interesting. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead a bit, but I'm just reading the books on corruption.
Yeah, me too.
And
I'm already onto something really good. I'm sure you guys have it covered, but
where to even go next?
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
proper crank.
Yeah.
Proper crank.
You
website.
have no idea.
So if you want to read any of the stuff that you just hit, Chris, go ahead. But to sort of color it,
Oh, I went to his bibliography page or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I just clicked on the top book at the top of the list, and I just hold on, what was I reading somewhere in the body of it? Victoria Police Corruption and Victoria Police Corruption 2 published at the same time expose further corruption, and like Raymond's 3 previous corruption books, will probably be unlawfully banned shortly after release by the named officials in a desperate attempt to prevent the public from knowing what really goes on.
That's right.
Good stuff. Yeah,
You'll
really
keep in mind, from what I read, he has blue ribbon scientific credentials. He's one of the most celebrated herpetologists of all time, according to his website, smuggled.com.
Yeah, and to be clear, this is his website. This is one of 10 websites that we found that he has, and he writes all of these articles. and he refers to himself in third
Always.
person. And the dripping venom that he has for Wolfgang Wuster, and the shit that he throws at this guy Wolfgang Wuster, and we'll explain who Wolfgang Wuster actually is in a little bit, but here's another article that from smuggle.com just called Wolfgang Wuster, A History of Lies, Frauds, and Criminal Misconduct. And I'll just read like the first like couple paragraphs here. And by paragraphs, they're like 2 sentences long apiece. Over a 22-year period, a notorious Welsh-based criminal, Wolfgang Wuster, whose day job is as a university lecturer, is a university lecturer at a second-tier college in Wales, has made a name for himself through repeated acts of criminal stalking, illegal threats, harassment, scientific fraud, plagiarization, and other acts of serious misconduct. He's also publicly admitted that he was a leading member of a gang of thieves who failed in an attempt to defraud the Accor Hotels Group of a massive sum of money. His cohort includes convicted thieves and sex offenders, and also includes a gang of people who have engaged in a raft of crimes, including animal abuse, raping women, violence, stalking, animal cruelty, shootings, burglary, fraud, perjury in courts, scamming, etc. Wolfgang Wuster has traded in lies, including making provably false claims in his so-called scientific papers, better described as unscientific rants, rambles, diatribes, or tirades of abuse, and runs multiple false name accounts online for the express purpose of spreading hate at his warped world views.
I want to explain that the reason I'm laughing so much at all these horrible crimes is because the people that he's talking about, Wolfgang Wuster and all the other people involved, they're just professional, academic herpetologists. They're the most, they're the most boring scientists wearing their little professor jackets, sitting at home with this guy just calling them rapists for literally nothing.
Yes, if it isn't clear, all of those, that's entirely just
unfounded.
Lies and slander.
None of this is true.
100% lies and slander. And the real story is this guy Raymond Hoser,
the curator of this website,
the curator of
this website,
copyright,
who also goes as the Snake Man,
also very copyrighted. You cannot call yourself the Snake Man.
Snake Buster also.
Yeah, Snake Buster.
He'll sue
He has
you.
a couple of different names. He's extremely litigious.
Oh my god!
But he's just
Why are we talking about
weird.
him?
There's this weird. He's this weird Australian crank who in Australia runs snake shows.
That's right.
So he imagine it's sort of like the Tiger King
I was
guy.
just thinking that.
He's got all of these different snakes, and he goes and he hires himself out to go to parties and shit.
It's the only snake show in Australia where you're allowed to handle the snakes. He's the only one to do it.
So for kids parties, or I guess corporate events or fairs or whatever, if you want to hire a guy who will bring snakes, he'll bring
He's
them.
handing out business cards with this website URL to the children at the party. At the
Yes.
birthday party. Yeah.
Literally, yes.
Yeah. and at some point, and we're still trying to figure out the exact timeline on this, because he's been doing this since
a few
the 90s,
decades, yeah,
right?
for sure.
At some point, he started naming snakes and other reptiles, and the way that you do that is, again, via the ICZN rules that Carrie was talking about. It's sort of like a first come, first serve.
Right.
Whoever first names the animal gets it, and you have to get it published in a academic journal and says, I've discovered this animal.
Right.
Here are its attributes, and here's how I'm going to classify.
So let's say I'm in my swamp that's behind my house, and I come across a new type of just snake. It might look like another snake that already exists, but I've decided that it's actually distinct from the snake that other people might think it is. And then I explain that via whatever template this guy has figured out that is how you do that. I write it out and I say, and now this new snake that I just discovered is named Raymond Hoseri.
Yes.
He's done this thousands of times.
And so
I'm sorry to cut you off, Shane, but I just clicked on one of his things where it says full list of sites.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
It is
Expansive.
it's expansive. I mean, archives going back to like 93, I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is fucking
the picture in both smuggle.com articles we read, and I believe it's in all of them, in the top right corner, which is of the Australasian Journal of Herpetology, that's also basically like a fake amateur published herpetology scientific journal that Raymond Hoser self-publishes online, and that's where he names his snakes.
I don't know. I'm seeing
and
right here
again,
that it's Australia's best-known peer-reviewed journal that specializes in the sciences associated with herpetology. So,
and almost every article he writes is like a list of like several dozen new names that he's come up with. And elsewhere, right, we found that, I forget the exact statistic, but it's something like 70% of all reptile names ever, are from this guy.
What?
Because he just is just fucking making names constantly.
He keeps finding the same snakes in the swamps near where he lives.
And then claiming that it's a slightly different snake.
And he'll just name them after himself, his kids, people he knows. Like
he's named a few off his daughter's gym teacher.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Just any name that he knows, and then he does like little different flourishes. So one will be like Raymond Hoseri, one will be Raymondi Hoseri, one will be Raymond Hoseri Rary. And there's a whole series of them that just have sloppy at the end of it. So it's like the Raymond Sloppy.
Man, I want to know what kind of fucked up childhood this guy had.
And so at some point,
it's so
actual herpetologists took notice of this guy and were like, this is fucked up. This is bad.
We have to ignore
that
it.
This like insane guy is doing this. And the leader of this gang of thieves was this guy from Wales named Wolfgang Wuster. And so he got a bunch of his other herpetologist friends together and was like, you know what? We're gonna stop. We're not gonna call these snakes these ridiculous names.
I'm not
for this
calling
guy
it
Raymond
sloppy.
Hoser.
I'm not calling it sloppy.
We're going to come up with a separate list of names that we're going to call them.
That's what we'll use in
snakes,
academic papers and
conferences and stuff. And that fucking pissed off Raymond Hoser.
Oh, man.
And so for
he wanted an
years,
adversary so bad.
For 20 years, or I guess at least this started like mid 2000s, so whatever, 10 years, somewhere around that, he's been like engaged in a targeted online harassment campaign against these like mild-mannered, self-serious scientists who have, by the way, if you look at like their writings and shit, they have absolutely no fucking clue what kind of man they're dealing with.
No, they do not. No, they do fucking not.
like they are like if you could conjure up an image in your mind of just like a very like kind of like self-serious, stuffy, very niche academic who's like, you know, I'm a doctor in this, I know everything there is to know about this thing, versus this like carnival barker insane person who's like literally handling like bundles of snakes in his hands.
They're trying to like appeal to a sense of like scientific integrity and civility with this guy who has like tubs of dead snakes in his house. Because
so they've published articles about him. They've published like academic articles where they talk about it in very serious terms, and then Raymond Hoser will hit back by just writing like insane screeds about how they're all pedophiles.
I feel like now is a good time to point out, because Dwight, I saw you sent the picture to the Discord from the website. You might be wondering, why does it say exclusive to Snake Busters, deadliest snakes, risk-free? Why is there no risk involved?
Interesting. Good question.
Now, do you think now is a good time to explain that, Shane?
Oh, wait. Well, maybe let's watch some videos first.
Okay, and then I'll explain.
Because I think when you see like the situation for what it is, it like the details really start to fall into place. So
I gotta say, this guy is fucking looking good for his age too. He
looks great. He does look good.
Okay, so I want to play a couple of videos from Raymond Hoser's multiple YouTube accounts.
Oh no!
Most of these are from 2011 to 2012. Which I guess is a period where he decided I'm gonna start doing like heavy self-promotion on YouTube, and there are hundreds of videos, especially on the Snake Man channel, all taken within a single year, and they average between like 1 and 3 minutes long, and most of them are him either feeding the snakes or like videos taken at parties and stuff. So I wanna play some of these so you get the vibe of who he is, and this is like one of the first ones uploaded. This is supposed to be like an introduction to like who he is.
All right.
And you'll see as we go how his vibe changes.
I just want to ask a clarifying question before we start this.
Yeah.
Is the title of this YouTube video Raymond Hosier?
Yes.
Yeah, most of the titles are really deranged. They're very this is the name of the video is Raymond Hosier. This is on his channel, that's Raymond Hosier. This is not the main channel. The main channel is the Snake Man one. But so here, let me just play this one.
Raymond Hosier, the Snake Man. That is me. My expertise is these guys, Death Adders. Absolutely magnificent. Watch this. Don't try that one at home. If you're going to kiss a death adder, you need to do a snake handling course with someone such as myself who actually has expertise. Oops. Her name, Slutsky. The reason she's a 5-year-old death adder, and in her second year, she had babies.
Oh.
And
my God.
She had 26 of them. So there you go. Now, death adders, magnificent, and bye for now.
Okay.
So
hey, are mothers promiscuous? I think so too. I also have very healthy relationships with women.
Let's move on
Look at all
to
your
the
tabs,
next video.
Dude. It's all like Raymond Hosier.
I've queued up. This one is just called Angry Snake Melbourne.
Okay. Shirtless. He's in this video, by the way.
Yes, it is the Snake Man here with Scrub Python. Look at that. Come on.
That snake is pissed.
Oh
my God!
Horrible thing. Look at that beautiful head they fought. Check it out. What's this? We'll just see that. Look, see he's picking the lid there.
Jesus!
They bite a bit of a snappy snake.
Torturing this animal.
Now I mention that because we don't use scrub pythons in our snake shows. We let people hold snakes that don't bite. Snake Busters, Australia's best reptiles.
Oh my God!
So visually, just to kind of describe
look
for
at that.
our audience who can't hear, like the snakes that he has, because at a certain point me and Carrie, before we got to seeing any of these videos, when we were just reading all this shit about Raymond Hosier, we're like, how can he have this many snakes? What does his house look like?
Right.
And I made the guess that he just has them in plastic bins.
You were right, honey.
Stacked.
Jesus
And that's
Christ.
exactly what they are. They're just in like fucking plastic storage bins, just stacked all over his fucking house.
So many
he's got
snakes,
hundreds of
dude.
snakes at any time. Here's another one, and this one's called Zoo Wants to Ban Private Ownership of Reptiles.
Oh my God!
Do one of you guys maybe want to just describe the thumbnail?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm getting John Delaney vibes. He's
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
he's shirtless and he's bald and he's like, like you were saying,
Great
he's
traps.
jacked for his, for being a middle-aged man.
He looks
He's got
great.
the Delaney look going in this one.
Great traps. Front delts are solid. Excellent chest. I think his biceps are probably one of his best muscle groups. I can't see his triceps from this thumbnail, but I can assume only from like the upper pectorals being so well developed is that he's doing a lot of like good tricep exercises as well. So that's what I'm thinking so far.
Thank you,
We do also
Yeah.
I do also want to make note of their plastic bins apparently that are full of snakes
All
stacked
over.
more than halfway.
Oh,
up
right.
the wall. Yeah.
It's almost like his height, the stack of yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're off. Snake Man here. We have one more snake. And just remember, oh, it's a python. Whee! Gucci. It's going to eat me. Okay, now just remember, people,
Can you imagine how pissed
we
off
are the
these
experts
snakes
with
are
venomous
after like
snakes, but the
sitting in a
non-venomous
closed
ones bite
plastic
more
bin
than the
for
venomous.
days and then being opened?
However, you don't die.
For the
Watch this.
record,
Gucci.
he's
I don't want
shirtless.
to see that. I don't want to see this.
What the fuck?
Hurry up, eat it, Freddie. Bang. Right.
Oh my
I think
God!
it's strangling it.
Just tell me when it's over.
If you think keeping reptiles as pets is good, it's only legal because I wrote the book on it. Smuggled. The Underground Trade in Australia's Wildlife came out in 1993. As a result of that, the laws were changed to allow you and I to keep reptiles as pets. Just remember, The government is now trying to ban it. Melbourne Zoo wants to outlaw all private ownership of reptiles. So if you want to see a snake or a lizard, you've got to go and see it behind glass and pay for the privilege at a government-owned zoo. We are fighting that at the moment. Just remember, when you get Snakebusters at your event, you're getting the real deal. The ones who like reptiles. Just remember, if it's not us, it's a risk.
Just to be clear, the whole time in this video, he's feeding a live mouse to a snake.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not live.
It was not live. I looked away.
I don't think so.
I didn't want to show any of these videos. Again, there's like most of the videos are of him feeding the snakes, but next to the plastic tubs of snakes that he has these like large plastic drums that I'm assuming are filled with formaldehyde and dead mice.
Oh my god!
That's like what's in his house.
What is going on?
He's got just,
I wasn't aware of this part.
Prepper levels of like
dead animals,
mice, and then snakes.
Okay.
I should also say that he is shirtless in this video, and the guy behind him is wearing like a full sweater.
What is that? So his assistant? Like I didn't even realize
maybe
he had
his son or something.
I wonder if it's Richard
Wells.
Wells.
I think it's his kids. I think no, it's definitely not Richard Wells. I'm not gonna play this last video, but I just wanted to quickly scrub through it because like it's too visual.
What the fuck?
This is him. I'm assuming it's some kind of fairground, and he sees like another animal.
This is a dog person
act or whatever, and he just like unpromptu starts picking her up and twirling her around.
Hey, women, don't you love it when men pick you up?
and then he does it to the person in the dog costume, and he picks up the dog.
The dog is trying to fight him off.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like
barbaric.
It's mad.
Barbaric.
And all the videos of him at the parties. All of the videos of him at the parties are like he's with kids and he gets all the kids together to like clap and cheer and go Snake Man, Snake Man, Snake Man, and then he turns the camera back on himself and he's like, "That's me, I'm the Snake Man."
And if you ever call yourself the Snake Man, he will see you in court.
Yes.
So don't even fucking try that shit.
Okay, so now maybe, Carrie, now that we've gotten a taste of like what his home life is
so
like,
comprehensive.
maybe you should describe the. Also, all these videos have like 50 views.
Here, let me.
Yeah, that's
I
love it.
That's how
that's what I look for. Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for on YouTube.
And please, if you're listening to this, do not interact with this man. He's legit.
Please don't send him our way.
This is one where we just take a hands-off approach. We're just watching.
You just observe.
Yeah.
It's exactly. This is like the wave particle experiment. It's just like you just observe.
So, I think to get to what I was going to talk about earlier, which is the risk-free aspect, I think we could describe, he does the snake shows, and like I said, it's the only snake show in Australia that allows you to handle the snakes, but they're deadly snakes. So how does he do it? You might wonder. Is it actually safe? Are you in danger? No, you're very, very safe because over a period of several years, which is all documented on his website, he has developed a painstaking process through which he removes the venom glands from the deadliest snakes in the world. They said it couldn't be done.
What?
The real scientists said it couldn't be
the
done.
Stuffy elites.
But he has developed this process through which he gets the snakes and he puts them in the freezer to knock them out. A lot of snakes died in this process. As you can imagine, putting snakes in the freezer is a little bit dangerous. So a lot of snakes had to be sacrificed in the process of developing this. Then he goes in through the roof of the mouth. He removes the venom glands of the snakes that might wake up at any time because they're just kind of sleepy because they're cold. And then he puts like a piece of silicone into the roof of the mouth where the roof of the mouth used to be. And now those snakes are no longer venomous.
And as you saw, right, like since he has them in the plastic bins, like he wrote, we read like his own article, his fake scientific article about like, the involved process or whatever. He has the snakes in a plastic bin and he just sticks them in the freezer in his fridge.
And then he just starts for like stabbing them in the roof of the mouth.
Yes.
It's so fucked up.
So but he's very insistent about how good this process is and how safe it is. And is it a good time, you think, to mention the daughter?
Yeah. Now
is a good time for the daughter. So the reason that I initially came across this is because in my Googling, and we found a lot of articles about him, which I think Shane will get into, but one of the most captivating articles that I found, let me just find like a headline about it. It's from smuggled.com. This is his take on it. snake bite daughter dad cleared of false claims by court.
No.
So the way that he proved to the people observing that these snakes were not deadly was to let them bite his 10-year-old daughter several times during a snake show. And as he's doing this, unfortunately, the video has been removed from online, but there were like a bunch of quotes from it. He just had the snake bite his daughter over and over while saying, all right, well, now let's see if she dies. You die real quick. You die real quick from this one. It's a deadly snake. Or is it? And, you know, he got taken to court for that, obviously. But, you know, he has... he was cleared.
Wait, is he like does he have the only thing that would make this, I think, better, does he have a beef towards like a family court judge or anything? Did
he definitely has problems with the law, right?
Yeah.
Like, he actually loves his wife and his children very much. They get along very well. There's no divorced angle on this, unfortunately. Not yet. It could happen anytime. I guess, you know, I hadn't thought of it, but his wife must just be like okay with this, with like her children being bitten by these snakes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not, it's not like they're poisonous.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a Mrs. Snake Man?
But yeah, he just, and I think actually that he's done this multiple times, because there's a few articles that say 10-year-old daughter, and there's a few that say 12-year-old daughter. So I think this is just like a recurring bit that he does of letting the snakes bite his child.
With a career that spans, 30 years of crankdom, you got quite a catalog.
That's right.
So I think here is a good point to maybe get into my favorite wrinkle in all of this, which is the Snake Buster service. So in addition to doing the shows and this like fraudulent fake science shit that he does, I guess the way that he makes his money is like he offers a service called Snake Busters, which is like, I suppose in Australia, in his area, there's always a chance that you encounter a deadly snake in your like day-to-day, right? In your store, at your workplace or what have you, and in your house, even in your backyard. And so you call Raymond Hoser, the Snake Buster, and he comes and gets the snake,
because
right?
he's really good at snake handling.
And he's he's the guy with the most experience handling venomous snakes, etc. And if you Google Raymond Hoser and you click on like the news tab, there's just a ton of fucking articles about where he's cited as like a snake expert, where it was like snake found at gas station, and then there'll be like luckily Raymond Hoser was called and snake expert came and did it. Snake found in bedroom. There was one where it was like 7 snakes found in child's bedroom. These sort of like tabloidy scary headlines. And then Raymond Hoser is always there. He's always called to the scene. When the COVID-19 lockdown started in Australia, there's an article from Newsweek with that cites him saying that, like, now that the lockdowns are happening, we're going to see a lot more snake encounters, deadly snake encounters. How he connected those two things is unclear, but he's got a gift for sort of trying to take advantage of the moment, whatever it is, and promote, do self-promotion, and that's how a lot of these like news pieces come across, right? However, it's not just the case that there are just all these fucking snake encounters happening. There's a few articles, and I'll just read the title of one from the dailymail.com. It says, "Snake catcher furiously denies planting a deadly tiger snake at a Melbourne petrol pump after Coles called the police." And I won't get into the details of this particular encounter, but there's a whole series of fucking articles about, like, you'll see one thing where it's like, the snake man, Raymond Hoser, saved this like terrified family from a snake. And then you'll see like a few days later, another article was like, did he plant the snakes? And it's like almost 100% certain, given everything else
Allegedly.
that we've looked at, that he's fucking planting deadly snakes.
But they're not
Allegedly.
deadly.
People's houses and stuff.
Devenom snakes.
Does that mean nothing?
Right, and that's And that's the grift, right? It's like, I have this snake that nobody knows I've secretly devenomed. So I can plant it somewhere and someone will think it's a venomous snake. They'll call Snake Busters. I get my name on the news. I get to promote my service, right? Because I'm assuming in Australia they have like an animal control.
He saw Ghostbusters.
That does this.
He saw Ghostbusters. That's like literally what the freaking EPA guy with like the ginger-haired guy that says that. He's like, I bet you planted them there. That's why we're able to. That's why then they call you and you come take them out.
I'm just sending this picture that I think we might have to use as the episode.
Absolutely, this is it.
Of him,
Let's see.
Again, just shirtless,
Incredible
outside,
biceps.
holding like
Is it the
maybe
one
a
that I
dozen
just sent?
snakes.
Outstanding bicep vein.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just so good. And so it's just this like fucking weird snake racket.
Dude, but he puts them in children's beds. There's like dozens of articles where it's like
allegedly
eight snakes found in Melbourne child's bed or whatever, and it's just so odd. He's doing this every day, dude. Any day that he doesn't have a show booked, he's planting snakes in a child's bed.
He's like breaking into the house. He's like hiding under the child's bed while it sleeps.
Listen, son, you better behave. Better behave. I'll send the snake man on you.
I'm the snake man. He thinks to himself as he's planting these fucking snakes, and he's probably buff enough that he can like parkour around the house,
That's right.
like silently. And it's just and oh my god, there's so many fun little elements of this. I mean, really quick. I also, inevitably, I was like, I went to Twitter.
Of course.
I found his Twitter account, which is just at Raymond Hoser. And if you look at that account,
Do not interact.
Do not
Please
interact.
do not interact.
No. Do not interact.
Just
with
observe.
But if you look at the account and click on the following, right, you can see there's like 20 other accounts that all have different names, like Snake Catcher, Hands on Reptiles,
I did see that.
and it's all him. He's made like 20 sock puppet accounts, and the thing is, he just has his own picture in all
and he
of them.
replies to himself all the time.
Yes,
All the
yes,
time.
and he tries to create this like fake engagement. And there was one interaction he had with Wolfgang Wuster. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh yes.
I mean, we haven't even gotten into the listserv.
Wolfgang.
Oh yeah,
Wuster.
that I think we should. That's where we should end. The listserv thing is one of the funniest fucking things I've seen. Okay, so
What the
Wolfgang
fuck?
Wuster.
Have you seen his? You seen his Wolfgang Wuster's Twitter account in his bio? What the fuck?
Wait, what's his bio?
It says private account. Currently a guinea pig in a eugenics experiment on @Boris Johnson's #Plague Island.
Oh, yeah.
All views. I think what he's saying is like how bad the
'cause of
Tories are
COVID.
handling fucking COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's another fun thing too in their battle. So like fucking Wolfgang Wuster's whole Twitter account is all about like it's the sort of the elite liberal like trust the science
Sure.
the kind of stuff. And Raymond Hoser's account is all about how like the lockdowns are illegal and tyrannical, and it's such a perfect like emblem like across the world of just like the two poles of just this like insane kind of like undirected populist anti-corruption rage, and then like the elites. Like that's what's at play here, and that's what makes it's like a fucking battle of the ages. And the best part is that it's happening in all of these weird niche things online, but there's no public exposure about it. But it's been going on for years.
Not in the least bit surprised.
This is not okay.
Oh my god.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. We don't have to describe what it is, but it's just racist.
Yeah.
Oh, he got evicted.
No.
Hold on.
God, his teeth are brutal, huh?
Yeah, they really are. I'm just discovering like a brand new thing right now. We won't have time to get into this because it needs to be researched.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But in among the
What the fuck does this mean? What the fuck is this? I'm sorry. What you just said?
I don't know.
What the fuck does this mean?
I don't know.
Scotty, Snake Man was evicted from Hotham yesterday because of the lockdown. Sucks. By the way, I did a quadruple somersault on Heavenly Valley yesterday on a snowboard. unintentionally.
Oh, so this is
terrible Australian
I
accent.
looked it up. That's a mountain in Australia, Hotham. That's, I guess he was.
He was kicked off the mountain
Yeah.
because of the lockdown, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Or because
So
he
now
was trying to do parkour on a fucking
Yeah,
mountain.
and he snowboarded away from the police or whatever, holding just barrels of
Now
snakes.
these fascists
throwing
telling
them
me,
back.
and all of a sudden
Take this!
it's a crime not to wear a shirt.
Like I said, a lot of this battle between him and Wuster.
Joel, I'm sorry for this. If you're listening, Joel Birch, I apologize for my bad Australian accent.
It plays out in these incredibly niche places, and we found a public listserv for the herpetologist community.
Oh no!
And I think this is as we start to wrap up here, we have to briefly introduce Raymond Wells,
Richard Wells,
who's another character. Oh, Richard, is it right?
Yes.
Raymond Hoser, Richard Wells. It's so many characters. So Richard Wells was involved in this thing that happened, in the 90s called the Wells and Wellington affair?
Yes.
Where he also did, taxonomic fraud.
Yes.
But he did it to, a much smaller degree, nowhere near Hoser's. He did, it involved, whatever the case was, it involved, 20 snake names, whereas Hoser, it's, in the thousands, you know?
Yeah.
But it was, a big deal at the time, and so somehow... and I think what happened is Wolfgang Wuster and his gang of thieves published an academic article about the problems of taxonomic vandalism, and in it they mention both the Wells and Wellington affair and Raymond Hoser. And so because of this association, an alliance formed. A brief alliance between Richard Wells and Raymond Hoser. And, Raymond Hoser's writings, again, he calls Wuster, whatever, Nazis and sex criminals and all this kind of insane shit. But Wells' writing is just, mwah. It's, some of the best. So, Carrie, if you want to read from some of his posts on the listserv.
Yeah, let's see.
So
which one is the really good one? Hold on.
I think it was the second one that you sent to me on
I think this is this the one that has the YouTube video at the end?
No, but this one has.
We have to
some
mention
really
the
great...
YouTube video. Okay, yeah. I'll read from this second one that I sent you earlier. Hello, everyone, and again, this is going out to a professional mailing list of herpetologists, professional scientists. Hello, everyone. I would just like to make a few comments on the taxicom discussion on so-called, and this is in scare quotes, vandalism in recent herp taxonomy started by Wolfgang Wuster. Stephen Thorpe's comments are like honey on the wind compared to the considerations of the Kaiser et al. Paper, hereinafter cited as Wuster et al. Thorpe has consistently shown his superior intellectual grasp of not only the structure of the code and its more sensible applications, and again, this is talking about the ICZN code, but also importantly, where any credit or kudos should really lie in the classification of life, not in the act of naming, but through the efforts derived by discovery and scholarship. The shrill-like bleatings of Wuster over Hoser's actions, and mine too apparently, make him look like a spoilt brat spitting his dummy than the professional scientist that he obviously aspires to be. I have closely followed Wuster's contributions in herpetology for a number of years, and I can readily attest that for the most part, it is a publishing record of which he can be proud. The only real faltering in his output that I can see relates solely to his personality clash with Raymond Hoser. In effect, Wuster, through his well-meaning attempts to bring down Hoser, through his orchestrated smear campaign over the last 15 years, is starting to look more like the hapless cartoon character of Coyote, who is always done over by the Roadrunner in the form of Raymond Hoser. Through Wuster's circulation of pseudoscientific ravings to counter the frenzied accusations of Hoser, Wuster is leaving himself wide open to serious criticism from his colleagues. Wuster now uses the internet like a playground bully uses a schoolyard. Step out of line in the taxonomic herpetology, and you better watch out for the Wuster gang. This goes on for so long. Should I keep keep reading it?
No, that's good.
It's
I just
so
I love the shrill bleatings of Wolfgang Wuster.
There was another line that we found,
fucking
and
funny,
there's
man.
no way to know where it came from. But the other thing that he did, because again they did strike up a friendship or whatever. There was another one I found where he's saying people on both sides of this look insane now. And what he did was he made and uploaded to YouTube a video which takes that famous scene from the movie Downfall.
Oh yeah,
where
Wow.
The Hitler's bunker scene from Downfall. I need to find it because obviously you're gonna want, at least Chris for sure is gonna want to watch this.
Please,
Yeah,
I've seen
there's
that
no
clip.
point.
I've
There's
seen that
not.
clip.
There's no
We
point
can't play
playing
it.
it for
It's
the
just
thing
German.
because it's all about the text.
Oh,
it's all
got
about
it.
the,
Right,
it's all about the overlay text.
And there's so much text in it that it moves so fast. But the gist of it is
Yeah.
that I guess Wolfgang Wuster in the video is Hitler, and all the people telling Hitler about what's going on are the other people in the herpetology community telling
his gang of thieves.
Wolfgang Wuster's gang of thieves.
His gang of
telling
thieves.
him Raymond Hoser has named another snake or whatever. And it's just when I found this at 3 a.m. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe that we came across this. And he sent this to the listserv, that video, by the way.
Yeah. It's
Unreal.
take a look at this, bitch.
Oh fuck.
It's so fucking good, man. I can't again, we're really only scratching the surface of it because because it's
high
it's
depth.
played out online. There is so much material. If this, if you've already turned off the episode at this point,
I don't blame
obviously
you.
this isn't for you. But if you're at the edge of your seat, I need more Snake Man Wooster battle content, just Google it, and just so much comes up. There's an article. Not a academic article, but it's published in a popular scientific magazine, the Scientific American, that covers some of this, called Taxonomic Vandalism and the Raymond Hoser Problem, written by Darren Naish from 2013. And I'm not going to read from it here, but it's worth taking a look at. But basically, Darren Naish is one of Wooster's cohort. And so and the way he describes it is a taxonomic apocalypse is coming up because of Raymond Hoser. And the other part of it is he's not wrong. And that's what I think is really fascinating to me. This is obviously very, very low stakes compared to all the other issues within various academic disciplines,
right.
and public messaging on science. But the fact that this fucking shirtless snake man can just get away with this, and again, like I said, it was something 70% of all reptiles ever have been named by this guy, and they're all fraudulent names. They're not real. It's all just
they're not
made
even
up
real
fucking
snakes. They're just new.
Yes, exactly. They're not even real snakes. But the fact that there is no the institutions that exist were not set up to deal with this, and they have no idea what to do. And one guy, if there was a coordinated effort, if we wanted to, not that I'm
the
saying
wheels are already turning. Yeah,
we could easily just fucking ruin any scientific naming convention thing just by flooding it with insane bullshit.
I did find the YouTube video, which you said we can't play because it's all in German, but if anybody wants to just read the title of the video that I just sent.
All right, let me take a look. Oh boy. Nazi taxonomists plan final solution to stop Ray Hoser.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I volunteered to read it.
I was gonna say, one thing that we didn't get to mention was that, the serious articles written about this, there have been a couple of articles in, Scientific American and I think, Smithsonian Magazine about this whole, drama, because it's been ongoing, for decades, and it is, a serious problem because, it creates so much confusion in the documentation around snakes. Shane said, he's named 70% of snakes ever. So there's just this flood of bullshit information. So if you're
so insane.
So if you're
oh my God, sorry.
if you're bitten by a snake, and you need to like look up what kind of snake it is, and you go to the hospital to ask for the antivenom, now there's the possibility that they won't fucking know what to give you because you looked up and found like whatever like the real name is, or maybe you found like the fake name, and like they can't even look it up themselves.
It was the sloppy Hosarian. Give me the antidote.
I need the Raymond Hosari antidote, please. Give me the antivenom. Yeah. And that seems pretty serious. Don't know if anybody's died yet, but yeah.
And it's still ongoing. Like a lot of the invectives that we were talking about that have been published were published like in the last few months. Like they're still at each other's throats.
And to be clear, like the ICZN, like the thing that I read about the ICZN ruling in his favor is true, because they are just literally like the same way I was saying they're not really equipped for like, what if some weirdo names a bug after Hitler? Like, they're extremely not equipped to handle somebody like Raymond. They're not. Like, nobody who went...
The Snake Man gets away again, Batman.
When they made this code...
You're going to have to break your one rule.
Like, there's no way they could have anticipated this. They would have to, like, redo the entire way that this is done to even begin to deal with him, because he is acting 100% according to their rules.
He's gamed the system. And I think that's why he's so mad, because it's like, how dare you say that I'm not a real scientist, Wolfgang Wuster.
You piece of shit.
I really think, like, the moment for me as we were discovering all of this that really, like, was when I knew this was something special was hearing the phrase Wolfgang Wuster and his gang of thieves. Yeah. Like that is one of the funniest sentences.
The way your face lit up when I read that to you out loud.
You're still
beaming
smile
right now.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then, because it's like, if you look at a picture of, like, if you look up like Wolfgang Wuster on YouTube, all there is are like these like Zoom lectures of him talking about different snakes, and he's just like he's like.
I mean, I'm with him. I don't like him. I'll be up all night writing threatening emails to Wolfgang Wuster.
Just sending him pictures of snakes, being like, "What do you think of this, mate?" I just called this one the Worcester little bitch snake. now that's forever.
Jesus Christ.
It's so fucking good.
For his alliance, for his showing of solidarity with Raymond Hoser. Raymond Hoser named a bunch of snakes after Richard Wells.
Yes. Do we have the list of the snakes that he's named?
Oh, I mean,
we definitely found it,
thousands.
But it is like, literally.
It's so fucking good.
So
dude.
many.
It's so good. Anyway, that's what we do at 6 in the morning is get down this fucking rabbit hole.
It's a living.
So happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
You guys enjoyed our little tale.
And if you didn't and you're not listening, that I understand.
You're probably in the gang of thieves.
You're probably a Wolfgang Wuster apologist. Yeah.
There is probably like one person who will listen to this and knows about it already from the scientific perspective.
Yeah.
And is going to be like, this is a very serious issue.
This is not funny.
They're just going to get dogpiled in the comments by people saying that they're part of Wolfgang Wuster's gang of thieves.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. All right,
friends.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Fucking deranged. Okay. Goodbye. Stay cool.
Love you. Bye.
So many snakes, you can fill the Great Lakes with snakes. Run, I try to hide, but snake bites on my face testify I've been attacked by snakes. By snakes, so many snakes, it would take 1,000 crates to contain the snakes after me. I'd rather be burned at the stake than be attacked by snakes.